Okay, so today we're doing the same thing as yesterday, but just doing a little bit more practice and working with triangles that have like where you have to solve more than one variable. So essentially what we did yesterday is we did geometric mean is when you draw an altitude in a right triangle, and what happens is all the triangles end up being similar. So really the gist of how you do this is you're basically trying to figure out, you're separating all the similar triangles. So as you draw these, make sure it's obvious which is your short leg and long leg in your right triangle. So I'm going to start with my first one. So here's my box, okay? This one's a little tricky because they don't really give me this length, but I can figure it out by taking 6 root 5 minus 4 root 5. So if I have 6 and subtract 4, I now have 2 root 5. So that's going to be my short leg. And x, it looks like it's going to be my height, and then I have nothing on the hypotenuse. So I guess we're done with that one. Now I'm moving on to medium. Okay, so here's my medium triangle. Here's my short leg is x. Okay, and then it looks like my long leg is 4 root 5. And there's no hypotenuse. And honestly, I'm not even going to bother with the big triangle because right now I'm already set up where I could figure out x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the small triangle over the medium triangle when I'm setting up my proportion. So what I'm going to do is I have my small triangle, so maybe I'll do short leg 2 root 5 over the short leg x. And then I'm going to do the long leg on the short or the small triangle over the long leg on the medium size. Now, what's nice with geometric mean is you can kind of cheat because there's always going to be a diagonal where they match. So it's either going to be x's or numbers that are going to be equal. So you can kind of tell when you're doing it right. So when you do cross multiply, you get x squared equals, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do quite a bit of radical work. Okay, now those of you who have horrible handwriting, you got to knock that off. You got to make sure that we're doing this correctly because right now I still have my x squared and I'm just going to work on multiplying these. So remember, you multiply the two numbers outside the radical, so 8. And then multiply the two numbers inside the radical, right? So root 5 times root 5. Well, if you notice, here we go. Now we have a pair. So really it's x squared equals 8 times 5 or 40, right? So I get x squared equals 40. Now, this is still x squared. I still haven't solved it yet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to solve this thing by square rooting both sides. We're only dealing with the positive value of this root because we're dealing with side lengths. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to break up 40 into pairs. So that's going to be 4 times 10. So 4 is 2 times 2. And then 10 is 2 times 5. So in simplest radical form, got my pair. My answer is 2 root, and then 2 times 5 is 10. So that's my answer for this first one. Okay, now let's juice it up a little bit. Now we've got a problem that has like so many variables, it's super confusing. So what I'm going to do is, again, label all my little triangles. So this guy, I always write the right angle so I can, so it helps me pick out the sides. So the short leg is 1, long leg is y, hypotenuse 3. Now I'm going to do medium. Okay, here we go. So I've got short leg is y. my long leg x and my hypotenuse z, so the medium one is useless. And then I'm going to do the large one. So I've got this one. And now this is where my box is. So my short leg is 3, long leg is z, and then my hypotenuse, this thing, is that whole length. So that's going to be x plus 1. Okay, so I have to figure out how I'm going to set up my proportion here because, well, the medium one doesn't have any numbers, so I'm not even going to worry about that. I think I'm going to do the little guy with the big triangle. And let's see, how do I set this up? Well, it looks like if I do short legs and hypotenuse, I can figure out x. So I'm going to do short leg 1 over short leg 3 equals hypotenuse 3 over hypotenuse x plus 1. And how do I know I did it right? Matching diagonal. It doesn't always have to go that way. It could be this one, but one of the diagonals match. That's how I know it's like legit and I'm doing it right. So now I'm going to cross multiply. So I get x plus 1 equals 3 times 3, 9. I don't even have to do radical stuff, so my x is 8. So now I can like throw that 8 in. So I can throw an 8 here. And if I throw 8 in here, that would be 9. And I think that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to solve, I guess I can try to solve for y. Let's see, how do I do that one here? Oh, now that I have, because like the blue one doesn't have any y's in it. So I'm going to do the little over the medium. And if I do that, I'm going to do short leg over short leg. And then, because I have that 8 now, I'm going to do long leg over long leg 8. And sure enough, it crossed, like the diagonals match, so I know it's legit. And I'm going to cross multiply, so I get y squared equals 8. So I'm going to square root both sides, and 8 is 3 2's. So my y is 2 root 2. So now I can throw that in. And for all my y's. And now for my z's, I mean, I don't really want to use the 2 root 2. Let's see if I can figure this out. I think I'm going to do the medium with the big one. Because for that one, I'm going to do the long leg and hypotenuse. So I'm going to do 8 over z, and then z over 9, because I have those values. So it's like these are the ones, I'll erase it in a second, but I did this and this one, and then hypotenuse to set it up. So I know it's legit because the diagonals match. So then when I cross multiply, I get z squared equals, I mean, I can multiply out to the 8 and the 9, but I'm not going to because I'm going to have to break it up anyway. So like, because I'm going to have to square root this, you know. So 8 is 3 2's, 9 is 2 3's, and I can get 2 pairs out of that. Sweet. So I get 2, 3, and then a root 2. So my final answer is 6 root 2. Okay, last one. And we're just going to redraw again. Okay, so this is y. This is 10. There's no long legs, so I guess we're going to leave it there. And then the medium. Well, this one's really useless here. The medium is what? Long leg is x. And then the hypotenuse is z. And then the big one is, all right, so here's my box. So 10's the short leg, z's the long leg, and the hypotenuse is 20. Okay, let's see if I can find something here. Well, x I can't really do because there's like nothing there here, but maybe y? Yep, I can do the little with the big one. Because if I do the little one, I can do short leg, oops, y over short leg 10, and then hypotenuse 10 over hypotenuse on the big one. So I did short with short and then hypotenuse to set it up. And I know it's legit because then when I cross multiply, where the diagonal is 10 on both. So I get, what is this, 20y equals 100. So y equals 5. Cool. I mean, I could have reduced that too, by the way, if we wanted. But I'm going to plug 5 in. Okay. All right, can I do x now? Well, wait, what am I supposed to do here? So for this problem, you kind of want to look. Do you see how 5's right here, like the y? Well, if you know this whole thing is 20, right? You can figure out your x, right? Because x is just right here. So sometimes they try to trick you and you have to look back at the problem, but you're going to go 20 minus 5 to get 15. So now I have my x. So I had to look back at the original picture to get that one. And then now I can find z, because I was getting nervous for a second there. Because for z, that's on the green and the blue, so I'm going to do medium over large or big. So for that one, it's going to be, I'll do long leg 15 over long leg z, and then hypotenuse z over hypotenuse 20. So just to like reiterate, I did long leg, hypotenuse. And I know it's legit because the diagonals match. So that's like the best. So now when I cross multiply, I get z squared equals 15 times 20. I didn't multiply it out because I'm going to have to do this radical stuff. So I'm going to do 15 is 3 times 5. And then 20 is 4 times 5. So I'm going to go 2 times 2 times 5. So then I get, how many pairs do I get here? I have a pair of 2s. Oh, and I have 5. So I have a 2, a 5, and then a root 3 is my leftovers. So 10 root 3 is the answer. So you have a worksheet for homework.